You'll never fail if you book on yourself. Welcome to Book It, a wrestling podcast for the fans, by the fans, where we book and rebook your favorite wrestling storylines. I'm your commissioner, LilXFudge, and today we got your GMs, Damone, D-Money Allen.
Shello.
We got the bad guy, Kenny.
Oh, yeah.
That was
And
super good.
The third return of Hi-Fi Mike.
Hey, why third return?
It's going to be like when Roman Reigns returned every 3 weeks.
You
We're going to keep milking
understand
it.
the other episodes I returned, the other two don't play for another year. What do you...
The return of Hi-Fi Mike. Yay.
This is like your return. This is like your fourth return to the show.
Right.
Either way.
I've already returned. We're good.
So Hi-Fi Mike's back. Fuck this guy. But you know what else returns?
I agree.
You know what else returns?
Of course. You're mad that
You know
I
what
won.
else returns? It's the BookItVerse, baby. We are back in full swing. For those of you Book It enthusiasts who watch religiously or listen religiously, you know that BookItVerse 4 had a weird start. We had a draft. A member dropped from that draft before we even started. And then a few of us...
Keith.
Yeah, fuck you, Keith. A few of us presented our first episodes of our BookItVerse. And I believe that was D-Money, Bad Guy. Hi-Fi Mike, you presented your first episode, right?
Yep.
And then myself as well. I don't believe Travis got to, did he?
Nope. That's
No,
where we
Travis did not present
that's
it.
what ultimately it was. Travis kept pushing back.
I see. Yeah, so Travis Eden gets to present
And
his
then
BookItVerse 4, episode 1.
So again,
Also-
fuck you, Travis.
We all got kind of burnt out on the Bookitverse, and we took a long break. Besides Kenny. Kenny was
About a
not
year.
burnt out.
They all did. I was ready.
But I was extra burned out because I did BookItVerse 4, episode 1, and I was kind of feeling a little butthurt about BookItVerse 3. So I kind of booked a over-the-top cringy comedy fed out of spite. If you want to go back and listen to that, Mike and Kenny cooked my ass, and Travis, who loved it, was not on air to defend me. Damone tried his best.
Same thing with me.
But Travi was not on air to defend me, and I'll say I left that episode even more butthurt than I came in. So with the return of BookItVerse 4, I was granted a mulligan of sorts to do a new new episode 1. I appreciate the powers that be. Kenny
is still butthurt.
But you know,
Because I feel like he shouldn't have got that, but no.
It is what it is. It doesn't
But
matter.
I was saying I got
I-
outvoted. So
but also with that
Better be good.
that pretext is that rosters are going to be a little wonky because Keith drafted all those people, and now they're in the void of free agency. But also, everybody not named Kenny has opened their roster to free use in the meantime. So don't be surprised when you see the same talent on multiple people's shows. Like Travi T's first show, you're going to see some Chris Sabin. On my first show, spoiler, you're going to see some Chris Sabin. You're going to see a lot of jump around of talent, more so than in the previous BookItVerses or in future BookItVerses when we will kind of lock down the rules. But BookItVerse 4 is the Wild West. That's why. That's what happened. But tonight, I am redoing episode 1, new fed, new vision, ready to go. So whenever y'all are ready for it, I'm ready to get cooking. Is there anything y'all want to ask or say before we start?
No,
I
I'm ready.
believe in
Let's
you,
do
John.
this. I'm
I'm
ready for this.
I'm expecting this to be even better than the Kevin Steen show, which was a top tier show to begin with.
Simone,
So.
just please. It wasn't. You didn't rate it that way. Please stop.
Hey, y'all want to go back and listen for yourselves? You can. You can make the decision, but that one was not re-uploaded.
not even canon. Don't even go back and listen to it. It's not even canon.
It's not canon. You can go listen to it, but you don't have to listen to it. I'm ready. I'm I'm very positive about this.
I love you, Mike. Thank you.
So let's do this. I've been really waiting for BookItVerse to return.
And also, if you want to catch these guys' episode ones that aren't being redone, they have been re-uploaded to our new YouTube channel. So you can be all caught up on episode ones and be ready for when Travis drops after mine. So let us fucking begin with Passion Pro Wrestling PPW Genesis. The show begins with Pyro and the music of I Seriously Dislike Most Other Humans by Bill Murray playing as The Miz on commentary says, "Welcome to the most must-see wrestling on the planet. Welcome to PPW Genesis. I'm The Miz, and unfortunately here with my broadcast partner, Joey Styles." Joey Styles says, "What an action-packed night it is here at the KeyBank Center in Buffalo, and we're starting off crazy with a hardcore match for the Vanguard Championship between two generations of Extreme, the Sandman and Darby Disaster Allen." And it plays to a video package recapping the build of this match. So as of late, the Sandman has been on a hot streak. He's been stacking bodies in mostly hardcore singles competition, proving he is one of the baddest men in PPW since his signing 2 months ago. Most recently, at the last PPW pay-per-view Capital Punishment, he defeated Chris Jericho, a 7-month Vanguard champion, in under 5 minutes with a brutal caning and Houston hangover to win his first PPW gold. The first episode of PPW Drive, following Capital Punishment, opens with the Sandman stating, "I'll keep this short and sweet. I'll open up this ring for anyone on the roster to fight me under hardcore rules, and they will each get mowed down. I'm here to kick ass and walk out with this pretty belt, the fattest check possible, and the fattest chick possible. I do this all while putting on one hell of a show for you hard-working fans.
BB Dub. BB Dub.
Like, what?
BBW's back, baby. Everybody wins, except my opponent." He finishes his beer and leaves through the crowd, making the segment one big entrance, essentially. Later that night, PPW World Champion Chris Sabin and the Sabinists, who were revealed 4 months ago when Sabin won his championship, consisting of Darby Disaster Allen, Shannon Sorrows Moore, TJ Terror Perkins, Killer Kelly, and AJ Agony Styles, all sporting their Cenest looks, are seen hanging out in the venue basement, all decked out with band posters, Monster Energy cans, and 2000s emo apparel scattered across. They're all sitting in a circle, sprawled out on beanbag chairs, and Chris, between looking up and down at his phone, says, "This is our manifesto for PPW. We will hold all the championships and all the power. We will not conform to their rules, and we will rewrite all the damn rules to fit our lifestyle. Starting tonight, each one of you is calling your shot, and you cannot let me down." He goes over to Darby and says, "You wouldn't want to hurt me, would you? If you want to stay in my circle, my top 5, you must beat the Sandman and take his Vanguard Championship. Now, the only way through his thick skull is by cutting through his skin. Make him bleed tonight and show me how much you care." He'll talk to the other members of the faction too, but this will be addressed in the builds for their matches. Later that night, Enter Sandman plays, but the camera is unable to find the Sandman until it goes into the nosebleed section of the arena, and you see Darby Allin holding the Sandman's bloody head over a guardrail with a broken beer bottle in the other hand. Next week on Drive, Shannon Sorrows, TJ Terror, and AJ Agony are having a triple threat match for reasons I'll discuss in another build, with Darby, Chris, and Kelly at ringside. Darby seems to be scanning the crowd the whole time. Midway through the match, an audience member behind Darby in the front row stands up, takes off a trucker hat and fake mustache to reveal it's the Sandman. He drags Darby over the rail and beats his ass through the crowd, taking him away from ringside. The following week, a lo-fi camera follows the Sandman getting out of his car, walking into the building. He gets out of a car, cracks open a beer, lights a cigarette, and says, "I meant what I said 2 weeks ago. I'll kick anyone's ass. I love fighting. I love money, and I love the rush of a roaring crowd. Darby, beneath the makeup and fashion, you and I ain't so different. I like your work, kid. It's a damn shame you run with cowards and act like one. I could have mentored you to be better. Sucks, you gotta learn the hard way. Meet me in the ring tonight, and I'll give you a lesson you'll never forget." And walks off from the camera. Later that night, Sandman makes his entrance, sets up a chair, sits in the ring, and waits for Darby to come out. The screen cuts to Darby via FaceTime, saying, "I fully intend to make my way to that ring, smack the wrinkles off your face, and take your title. But not tonight. See, Sandy, we are very important and popular people. Darby Disaster is not available at your beckoning call. We will fight when I feel like it," and hangs up. The next week on the Go Home show, going into the pay-per-view, backstage interviewer Jonathan Coachman says, "At this time, please welcome PPW Vanguard champion, the Sandman. Sandman, you declared an open challenge for your belt, and it appears to be answered by Darby Allin or Darby Disaster of the Satanists. However, you can't get an answer as to when. What's going through your head?" Sandman says, "Darby dipshit, you and your gaggle of emo pussies do not scare me in the slightest. You had all the time in the world to make sneak attacks, but when my eyes are on you, you seem to run the other way. You will pay for poking the bear, and it won't be a little cut on the wrist. Fight me tonight, and I'll put you to sleep faster than a Benadryl." And as he's about to continue, Darby walks up with the Sabanist behind him and says, "As much as I'd love to make a statement tonight, I feel that Chris deserves to see me beat you on a bigger stage. So how about we put on a grandiose performance for him at Genesis on Sunday? Use those couple of brain cells you got left and think about that." Before they all walk away high-fiving and chuckling like it was the funniest thing ever said. Commentary notes right as they go off screen that the Sandman has accepted officially, and they will face off under hardcore rules. For notable attires and entrances, Sandman is wearing Buffalo Bill's Zubaz and lets Hi-Fi Mike in the crowd pass him a joint and takes Damone's beer. He then allows them and Judge Joe from Not a Real Court to take a selfie with him in the crowd. Darby Allin comes out. He's sporting longer hair than you're used to seeing him with, kind of like front bangs, similar to what I'm rocking right now. Basically, imagine him with the Machine Gun Kelly cut. He's still wearing the skinny jorts with the purple checkered studded belt and striped fingerless gloves. So for the spots, Sandman starts caning the shit out of Darby until he's laying helpless on the mat. He climbs up to the top rope and hits a leg drop with the cane between his leg like he's on a witch's broom. He sets up a table leaning against the barricade outside the ring, and suicide dive spears Darby. Darby suicide dive spears Sandman through it. Darby lays the Sandman across Joe, Mike, and Damone's seats. He climbs on top of the barricade and coffin drops all four of them. He pin attempts on Sandman for 2. Darby is kicking Sandman through the crowd until Darby pours a beer on Sandman, and he has a drunken Hulk up and starts clearing chairs, throwing them at Darby's head. The fight makes its way to the catering area. Sandman Russian leg sweeps Darby onto a tray of beef on weck sandwiches. He then drags him by the hair into General Manager Dan the Dad's office and Exploders suplexes him through the door. Fighting by the staircase to the second level, Sandman is standing on the stair rail until Darby grabs his foot and pulls him down to hit his nuts on it. When Sandman starts getting up, Darby hits him with a rolling senton for the top of the stairs. When they make it up to the second level, Sandman takes control of the fight. He drags Darby over to the guardrail. He bangs his head up against it 10 times as the crowd counts along. He then military presses Darby down to the first level. Sandman spends a minute showboating on the second level, hitting people's vapes in the crowd and drinking their beers. He then stands on the guardrail, raises his hand to hype the crowd, and as Darby gets up, Sandman dives off for a crossbody, but Darby is waiting for a glass beer bottle. He swings right into the Sandman as he flies at him. Darby rips open the Sandman's shirt, grabs a handful of broken glass, sprinkling it onto the Sandman's body. He stands on an open chair and hits a coffin drop, pressing the glass into the Sandman's chest, pinning him 1, 2, 3. Darby Allin is your new PPW Vanguard champion.
All right, I've got one question. What's a Vanguard champion exactly?
It's my mid-card title.
Okay. Someone else want to go first?
All right.
Go ahead.
I think the promos. I didn't like the promos. The story was cool. I think the story was cool. And the promos, in my opinion, were a little weaker. The match was good. I think it got a little nasty towards the end. I'm personally going with a solid 3.
I'll take that. And Joe gave it a 3.5.
I don't think
He took a selfie with you, Joe.
Damone?
Mike, you go next.
No. I insist.
Y'all are scared.
So-
You're supposed to let me fucking go.
No, don't be scared. So I think I agree that the promos weren't like the greatest in the world, but I also, in a Sandman versus Darby feud, aren't expecting like mind-blowing promos from either person. The match was solid. It was I like ish hardcore match. Like I have a whole Death Division in a different BookItVerse, so I can't judge you for doing brutal shit. So I'm gonna give you a 4. It was solid. It was a good match you would expect from Darby and Sandman.
I love two men, and they're both named Damone.
All right. So I came into this with a lot of hope.
Oh,
I did.
fuck.
I came into this hoping and wishing and just praying that this was gonna be your next coming. And you know what, John? You fucking did it! 5, baby! I loved it! Hell yeah!
Go! Damn, Mike went into that like he was about to bury me too. Hey, I love 3 men, and they're all named Mike. Like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I knew the Buffalo Bills
Sorry.
Zubaz fans were gonna do it.
Granted, my lawyers will be in contact, but
And when Travis hears about the beef on Weck sandwiches, I'm pretty sure I got him too.
Well, you destroyed them, so he's probably going to be upset about that.
Yeah, it's like my beef on Weck. Yeah, it's because you name dropped Zubaz and beef on Weck. Hey, I'll take that though. By the way, for the listeners, Primetime Travie T will be rating off air, so those scores be averaged alongside Travie T's. But
Yeah,
let's
I'll
go.
I'll read them off to start off the next week.
All right, bet. Let's continue on to our second match. So, the PPW Heavyweight Championship, a title division built to showcase strength, size, athleticism, and physique, has been held by Wardlow since last month's pay-per-view Capital Punishment, where he defeated Hernandez and attacked his knee so badly after the match
I'm suing now.
that he had to be taken out on a stretcher. Wardlow is seen smugly walking into the locker room. He goes over to the local talent and bucks at them to make them flinch. A lot of the wrestlers are staring daggers at him. Wardlow says, "If any of you got a problem, you could join Hernandez in the hospital. Anyone want to stop staring and step up?" You see behind him is the animal Batista. Batista says, "I'm the first of many who don't respect you. This schoolyard bully act does not impress anyone in this locker room. You're not the biggest. You're not the baddest. Hell, I don't even think you crack top 3. Wardlow responds, "Well, we all know you're not the smartest, so I don't care what you think. How about this, though? Gather up your top 3 heavyweights by Genesis, and I'll beat them all. Hell, make it an elimination match. I'll pin all 3 of you." Batista says, "Ending your career before it even starts. I believe you are the dumb one here." On the next episode of Drive, it is announced that Batista and general manager Dan the Dad have agreed to 3 matches to determine Wardlow's opponents at Genesis. This week, Mike Awesome will face Jeff Cobb. Next week, Oba Femi will face Lance Hoyt. And in 2 weeks, Batista will face Hammerstone. That week, in a fast-paced match filled with big dives, Mike Awesome defeats Jeff Cobb. Wardlow is seen watching it on TV at the correct angle. The next week, Lance Hoyt comes out for his match with Oba Femi limping in pain. Lance puts up a valiant effort, but Femi picks him apart and beats him decisively. Batista comes out to help Lance up and gets a microphone to ask, "What the hell happened, Lance?" And Lance says, "Wardlow attacked me from behind in the parking lot before the match. My leg was barely good enough to compete and get cleared because security got there in time." Batista says, "Production crew, get that security footage and let this crowd see that their heavyweight champion is a coward." The footage shows the events exactly as Lance described. Wardlow comes out and says, "Dave, you just better hope you make it to your match next week." Batista is shown entering the building, repeatedly watching his back. Batista versus Hammerstone opens the show. The match is hard-hitting and competitive, but as Batista sets up for the Batista bomb, Wardlow walks out to loud boos from the crowd. Hammerstone almost steals the match off of this with the roll-up. Batista is able to win clean, but gets a microphone to say, Wardlow, I have a healthy respect for our opponents. Obafemi and Mike Awesome are going to bring the fight, but I am laser focused on beating your ass all around this very arena on Sunday night. And Batista is interrupted by the whoo of Obafemi's music, and Oba says, and I'm going to do the worst accent you've ever heard for this. Sue me already. How dare both of you disrespect your ruler by looking over me? I have proven in that ring that I am head and shoulders above my competition. Skill and strength cannot overcome destiny. Connections cannot overcome prophecy. Desire does not nullify my God's given rights to glory. And Oba is interrupted by a loud, shut the hell up from Mike Awesome. And I don't know what Mike Awesome's voice sounds like, really. Did he ever talk in ECW? I don't know.
John, I'm just gonna say, I'm just glad that Obafemi didn't sound like Teddy Long
Lonzo
and
Ball,
No, that would have actually been great.
He sounded like suffocation, no breathing.
Damn, even the non-emos are emo. I got Oba Femi being emo Femi over here. So Mike also says, I think the fans have heard you yap about what you think you're entitled to long enough. I won my match with no interference. Can you say the same? And then Oba Femi shoves Mike Awesome, and they start fighting their way down the ramp. And Batista and Wardlow start brawling their way up it, and fists are flying between the four until a commercial break is called for them to separate the four. So now we get to the match. I, for some reason, didn't do a tires for them. I did them dirty. But the match starts with the four running to the center of the ring and throwing fists. It gets broken up by Batista pulling Wardlow in and immediately hitting a Batista bomb. Right afterwards, Mike Awesome hits an awesome bomb on Oba Femi, slamming him right on top of Batista as he gets up. Wardlow is able to get up and hits Awesome with a powerbomb of his own. He poses and turns around for Femi to hit his pop-up over-the-shoulder powerbomb. So all four of them has traded their powerbomb finishers to a big clap from the crowd. All four get up in their respective corner. Batista hits a big spine buster on Oba Femi, one on Mike Awesome, and then eats a super kick from Wardlow. Wardlow goes to the apron, assumedly for a tope atomico, but Mike Awesome jumps over the top rope and clotheslines Wardlow, dropping them to the outside. Oba Femi hits a Beal throw on Batista. He continues toying with him until he backs him into a corner. He goes across the ring and starts running before getting speared by Batista. Wardlow slingshot shoulders tackles Batista going back into the ring. Awesome climbs to the top rope and attempts a moonsault on Batista, but Batista moves out of the way. Femi picks up the scraps of the missed moonsault by hitting a one-hand pendulum backbreaker on Awesome and pinning him to eliminate him. Femi big boots Wardlow out of the ring. He then mocks Batista by hitting him with his own spine buster. Batista responds by clotheslining Femi out of the ring, taking the match to the outside. The three brawl outside of the ring, and Batista spears both Wardlow and Femi through the barricade, knocking into the crowd. Batista hits a Batista bomb on Femi without sitting out because he hits it on the apron. He slides Femi into the ring and eliminates him. Batista goes back out and sets up for a Batista bomb on the announce table to Wardlow, but Wardlow overhead tosses Batista onto the floor. Wardlow hits a rolling senton off the announce table onto him and flexes to the crowd. Wardlow slides Batista into the ring and climbs up for a moonsault of his own, but Batista gets underneath him, climbs to the second rope, and hits an avalanche Batista bomb. 1, 2, and a shocking kick out from Wardlow. Batista and Wardlow work their way up to their feet for a boo-yay spot. Batista gets 3 yay punches straight until Wardlow pokes him in the eye and hits him with a powerbomb. He attempts a pin and a kick out at 2. Wardlow starts the powerbomb symphony from there and hits 4 more powerbombs. Batista somehow still kicks out. Wardlow gets frustrated that he can't beat Batista with his strength, so he climbs up on top, hits Batista with a swanton, and pins him with an annoyed look on his face. And he quickly takes his title to the back in frustration.
So,
can you give me the ending again?
So Wardlow basically hit a powerbomb symphony on Batista and kept trying to pin him, and like he couldn't beat him with the powerbombs, so he beat him with a swanton bomb and was pissed off that he had to beat him that way.
So I liked most of it. The only thing is, I think the wrong person won here. I think that Batista should have won, even if you had like Batista or Wardlow hit the swanton and like go for the pin and like Batista like hook him to like steal the pin or something. I think that would have been better because now you really don't have anywhere to go with like the Batista and Wardlow feud because he beat him clean.
There
He
doesn't
didn't
have
do
to, it could
any.
be an end of a feud. Doesn't have to be a long feud. Could be a very short thing.
Also, keep in mind that, and not that I'm trying to politic my way for better scores, but
No, you're fine.
that there's still an ongoing feud between Wardlow and Hernandez, depending on when Hernandez recovers.
So basically, this isn't
Okay.
this definitely isn't a long feud.
But I still think that the wrong person. I still think the wrong person won. I think
And Mike, you're correct.
I think Batista should have won. Because now Wardlow just beat four guys. So, I'm gonna give it a. I really like the match, so I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
Hell yeah.
I really liked it. I think it was good one-off. Two big guys fighting, going head to head. I think the right person won. I'm giving you 4.75.
Hey, Joe gave it a 4 too. Hell yeah.
You said 4.75.
Yep.
One for each power bomb, Joe said. He counted the power bombs. He real for that.
Okay. I do like this one a lot better. I'm gonna go with a 3.75.
All right, bet. I'll take that. I'm gonna go into my next match. So in the same address that Chris Sabin made to the Sabinists in the Darby Sandman build, Chris goes over to Killer Kelly and says, "I believe you are good enough to be women's champion. Do you believe that? If not, then maybe you should. Prove your worth and go get yourself a title shot." And Kelly looks visibly scared as Abaddon has been a dominant women's champion for the last 14 months. The next week, Killer Kelly is seen going into General Manager Dan the Dad's office and asks, "I'm not going to mince words. I need a title shot, and I need one quickly. What do I have to do, and who do I have to beat?" Dad says, "Well, first of all, I admire your responsibility in asking and wanting to settle it in the ring. Nothing is free. You must earn it. You are currently 4th in the rankings behind #1 contender Viva Vaughn, who is already booked at Genesis, Dakota Kai, and Zaya Brookside. If you can beat Zaya Brookside next week, I'll book you in a #1 contender match with Dakota Kai at Genesis." Next week on Drive, Killer Kelly and Zaya Brookside are having a competitive 15-minute match where Brookside is mostly in control. AJ Agony hops on the apron, interrupting a move Zaya is doing. Zaya hits a hop-up enziguri on AJ, but after she does, Kelly rolls her up with one foot on the rope. On the final week before the show, Jonathan Coachman is backstage and says, "I'm here at this time with someone who could become #1 contender for the Women's Championship Sunday at Genesis, Dakota Kai. Dakota, you saw last week, you're not just facing Killer Kelly. You have to deal with all of the Sabins. How do you prepare for that?" Dakota says, and I'm not even going to attempt a fucking New Zealand accent, "One step ahead of you, coach."
Oh, that's the one you won't attempt?
I cannot fathom their accent.
Like, just do Obafemi again. Just do Obafemi.
Fine. You know what? Dakota Femi here. One step ahead of y'all, coach. Now it's Jamaican. Like,
I was like, what was that?
Jamaican be crazy.
Yeah, man.
What's up, man?
You
Dakota Curry.
Dakota Kingston. You see, I will not have the progress I have made derailed by antics like that. Zaya took it like a champ. That ain't me. I will burn this whole place down if I get my spot stolen. So I already went to Dan the Dad, and tonight I get to find a partner and face Killer Kelly and AJ Agony in a mixed tag match. If we win, the Sabinists are banned from ringside at Genesis. In fact, I'll team with the next man I see." And then walks by Orange Cassidy calmly whistling a tune. Dakota follows him and says, "Well, that settles that." The match takes place after a commercial break with Orange Cassidy and Dakota Kai winning after Orange Cassidy reverses a phenomenal forearm with an orange punch, but Orange makes the tag into Dakota to pin AJ Agony to pin him for the big victory going into Genesis. So now we're going into the spots for the match. The match opens up with both women immediately going for bicycle kicks straight to the face. They both go down long enough for the ref to start the knockout count, but they both kip up simultaneously at the count of 6. Dakota quickly outquicks Kelly with repeated kicks to the legs, following with a basement super kick to the face and a double foot stomp to the chest. Pin attempt 2. Kelly takes control when Kai goes for another bicycle kick that gets reversed into a cradle suplex throw. Kelly tries to rush for a pin, but Kai rolls to the outside. Kelly follows Kai to the outside, suplexes her back onto a barricade, and then she rolls in and out of the ring to break the count before setting up and hitting a Death Valley driver onto the apron. Kelly waits for the count out, but Dakota gets in at 9. Kelly starts to pick her up in powerbomb position, but Kai reverses with a scorpion kick, which is kind of like where you bend forward and kick upward. It's like a weird crescent kick. A drop kick into the corner, and a Kaio kick, which is basically a broski boot. Kai attempts to pin her, and Kelly gets one foot on the rope. Kai sets up for the chiropractor, which is a sunset backstabber, but Kelly reverses it into an Alabama slam. Kelly then hoists up Dakota Kai for a double underhook facebuster for a clean victory to become the number 1 contender. When Dakota goes backstage after the match, she looks insanely frustrated until she looks over and the camera shows Orange Cassidy is there in Gorilla. Orange calmly says, "Good match," and walks away casually.
So it's plan to see for a faction, just a dark faction. Is that what you're doing? That's what seems like.
Well, the faction's already there with Killer Kelly and them, but with the Dakota and Orange Cassidy thing, that's something entirely different.
Okay.
Um,
I'm personally, I'll go first on this one. The match is majority of this. I think in my opinion, the story was very, very lacking. It wasn't much to it. I think so. I'm personally going with a 2.5.
All right.
But the match was great. I think the actual match was great. You know, I think Dakota Kai is one of the GOATs in ring, but I think that the story really wasn't much. There's very bare bones.
Yeah, it was like I'm doing a number 1 contender match. They don't have anything they're beefing over a shot to the title. I didn't know how to add any more layers to that.
I get it, but I still got to grade what I heard.
Yeah,
so that's where.
Because Saban was like, "Hey, go get you a title," and she was like, "All right, let me go get a title shot."
I wish that we kind of got more from Killer Kelly, like
Same.
I guess her cutting a promo or like something more from her, on her end. It was the story was very Dakota Kai centric, which is fine, but I wish I got more from Killer Kelly. I'm going to give you a 3.25.
And what makes because the thing about this is too, these are, in my opinion, Dakota Kai has the best moveset for a female.
She has a very good moveset.
Yeah, I love her moveset. And then Killer Kelly is very, very good in ring as well.
Yeah.
And then Dakota Kai can talk. Like she can talk.
Yeah.
So we needed that. Killer Kelly is just she can talk if she needs to, but Dakota Kai is definitely gonna be
why Dakota Kai talked more, but like I think I could have written like another promo or two.
Yeah, I think especially like I said with Dakota Kai, she can play to the crowd, whether she's being the face or being the heel. She can play on your emotions. She's good at doing that. And I think Killer Kelly, she can be creepy to be whatever it is she needs. So I feel like there could have been way more for this. This could have been a great storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I needed more creepiness from Killer Kelly.
Yeah,
I just want other than just I want the title.
Yeah, because she was like told to go get a title shot, but she's kind of like, ah, shit. Do I really want a title shot right now? Because like Abaddon's the champion and I'm kind of scared of her. But so she kind of just like, instead of, demanding a shot from Abaddon, she went to the general manager's office like, hey, can I work my way up to a title shot, please?
But that wouldn't make sense because either way, you still got to be in her face in the ring.
Yeah.
So either way, whether I'm asking him, whether I'm talking to her, like either way, all roads go to her. So
she could be hoping that Abaddon loses to I forgot who she was.
Yeah.
That's what you should have did. You should have had her hoping on somebody else to be like, hey, I need you to go out there and beat her. And then at that point, she loses. Like she's stressing out. You can really play into that character more. But like I said, this was two great wrestlers that I feel like it's very underwhelming.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Not bad criticism.
I liked it. I thought it was short, simple, sweet. I like the ending. I'm gonna give it a 4.25.
I love 4 men and they're all named Mike. All right.
Yeah, Mike's nice as hell this time. He's nice as hell.
So immediately after that match, the music for the Mouth of the South Jimmy Hart hits. The crowd rains down boos as the PPW fans know him to be a con artist in the past. Most recently, he managed the Creed brothers to tag team success, but screwed them out of the championships when they questioned him about money. Jimmy gets to the ring and says, I know you guys don't trust me because of my past. I get it. I have shown through my lack of character that I'm not worthy of your trust. However, I have been in this business a lot of years and in a lot of places. I am worthy of your respect. Those years around the world bring me to why I'm here tonight. I've been trusted to serve as a bridge and a translator for one of the best international talents in the world. The Hart family has made their presence known in Japan, and now, making known to you, Japan's fastest rising star, shooter Shota Umino. And a video highlight package plays of Shota Umino's matches on the screen before the arena goes black and his music hits. Umino makes a grand entrance wearing all gold attire with a long jacket that has fur sleeves. He poses in the ring as him and Hart get cheered. Hart says, It's my honor to translate Umino-san's first statement to the PPW fans. Umino makes a short statement in Japanese and then bows to the crowd politely. Jimmy says, Okay, bold. Shota says he does not care about the American idiots in the crowd tonight or in that locker room. He came to make an easy paycheck beating inferior wrestlers. He says he'll do that. He'll do you fat slobs in Buffalo a favor and beat anyone in the back tonight.
Boo.
Kevin Owens' music hits as he angrily walks down to the ring. He gets in Shota Umino's face and screams, You think I'm an easy paycheck, huh? And Jimmy tries to intervene, but Kevin shoves Jimmy Hart down to the ground, and he rolls to the outside of the ring. Kevin then slaps Shota in the face. Jimmy calls for a bell and a ref, and the match begins. The bell rings, and Shota runs at Owens, hitting him with 3 European uppercuts straight back at him into the corner. Shota goes to the other corner, attempts a running European uppercut, but Owens moves, runs to the opposite corners, and cannonballs at him standing up. Kevin takes full control of the match, hitting an Argentine neckbreaker, which is like a stomach up version of a TKO, and a pump handle neckbreaker. He attempts a pin after both, but gets more pissed off after each kick out. Owens hits repeated lariats, holding onto Shota's arm, not letting him fall down. He then pulls him in for a double knee codebreaker. Pin attempt for another frustrating 2. Owens screams in Shota's face, You aren't taking a spot from me or anyone else. He smacks him in the face again and hits him with a package pile driver. Commentary is convinced it's over, asking, Have we seen Shota Umino get defeated in quick fashion? As he goes for the pin, 1, 2, and a kick out at 2.9. Owens goes up for the double jump moonsault, but Shota gets the knees up. He gets up and starts hyping up the crowd. He runs off the ropes, and Owen attempts a pop-up powerbomb, but Shota reverses with a push-off dropkick. Shota starts landing hard strikes like a roaring discus elbow and a regal knee. Shota will show his power with a fisherman suplex and a brainbuster in a pin attempt for 2. Shota dives from the top rope to hit a tornado DDT. When Owens sits up from that, Shota hits the Blaze Blade, which is a European uppercut to the back of the head, then floats over and locks Kevin in a Boston Crab. Owens escapes the Boston Crab by rope break. When Shota lets go, he's immediately caught with a super kick from Owens. Owens attempts a stunner, but Shota counters this and turns him around to hit a Death Rider for the victory. Owens extends his hand for a show of respect after the match. Shota goes over to accept the handshake, but Jimmy Hart rushes Shota out of the ring.
Canada. Canada won that, right?
Canada.
Canada.
No, Shota won.
Oh, I didn't hear that at the end. The Rock
Yeah.
Man won.
Owens went for a stunner, and Shota reversed it into a Death Rider.
Yeah, Rock Man won. That's my biggest complaint.
I totally disagree. I feel like Shota it's his debut, so it doesn't make sense to have him lose.
I still think the wrong man won. That's just pure bias.
Joe with this funny ass comment.
Who's graying first?
I'm going with a 4.
Hey, Joe said it.
Yeah,
That's what again. Mike starts at a 4.
all right. I'll go next. I think this, in my opinion, had the same problem as Dakota Kai's match. I think this one, you build him up. So I like that. The way you're building him up was fine, but the actual build for the match, in my opinion, wasn't like that. It was too abrupt, in my opinion. Like, it was just, okay, we're fighting now. It doesn't feel like there's a build to get here. It's just like, I'm tough. And the guy's like, you're tough. Well, I'm also tough. And then it's just, the fight happens. It's not, I feel like there's no story for me to be like, oh man, I really want to see these two really go at it. It's just like, it's just
To be
kind of
fair, Kevin Owens would just come out and fight.
Yeah, taking open challenge.
but again, there's no, in my opinion, there's no really, there's not really a build. It's just kind of
There's
like,
really no reason.
It doesn't have to be. It itself is a build. It itself
you
is.
catch the subtle
but this is still a pay-per-view or PLE, whatever it is. It's still, I have
get
to
what
be
you're saying,
like,
though.
drawn into like, okay, I gotta care. I don't care.
because like Shota, if you notice, his body language was like described as like super respectful, like bowing to the crowd, and then Jimmy's like saying he's all like "fuck y'all," like
no, and that's what I'm saying. I like that, but we needed more of it. I wanted, okay, week by week.
I actually have a
what's
question,
going on.
John.
Like, it's just like he's talking shit. He's just like, okay, I guess I gotta go with it. And then Kevin Owens is like, no, I don't like that. And then they just fight. Like, I need more. I just need more to the story.
I didn't like Kevin Owens. I gave more promos, but like, I get Kevin Owens is a loose cannon and will fight everyone. I get you with that, but I didn't like. He felt corny. But my question is: have there been like video
Nothing
packages?
wrong with corny. It is wrestling.
Have there been video packages like hyping up?
Yeah, hyping up Shoto coming over or anything like in the weeks.
He didn't let us know that. If that's the case,
I'm gonna, because I didn't write it, I'm gonna say no, because like Jimmy Hart comes out and everybody's like, oh fuck this guy, and then he's like, well, I get to be the bridge for this new Japanese talent coming over. Then they show like a highlight package of him, like, hey, who this motherfucker is, and then he comes out.
Okay.
See what you in my opinion, here's what you should have did. What you should have did. If I'm gonna just jump in your brain for a second, what I would have did was maybe have vignettes of Jimmy Hart talking shit about how good this guy is. Nobody can touch him in Japan. He's that guy. Nobody can touch him. And then you build him up more and more and more. And then Kevin Owens is like, who is this guy? You know what I'm saying? And then you kind of have them meet up. Maybe have him take him out first thing. Maybe present him as this heel, and then build it up with these two, and then we get to the final resolution, be it the pay-per-view or PLE, whatever you got going. But I just, like I said, it just wasn't enough for me to care. So I'm personally going with a 2.75. Like, I can't give it a higher score than that, just because the fact that, like I said, it's good, like, but it's not enough for me to be like, okay, like, to care about that.
It's kind of an impromptu dream match kind of situation.
It is. Because trust me, I've done the impromptu thing and I failed miserably every time. Right, so I do it. They're like, this isn't enough, 2 or whatever it is. That's gonna be crazy, but they'd be like, it's not enough.
So I agree that I wish that there was like lead up to it. Like Kenny said, like have the vignettes like showing who this guy is or whatever, because you kind of, it's the forbidden door thing where if I'm not watching New Japan, like even though you do a video package or whatever, I'm not going to give two
video
shits.
package is more than AEW does.
That is true.
I was going to say, like, we didn't get the video package. He was just like, hey, this guy's sweet. Y'all better know about him. They're like, who's this guy?
Yeah. It's just to be like, okay, I don't care who this is. The match itself was really good. The one spot I really popped for was the pop-up power bomb countered into the drop kick. Fire. I had to write that down because that was a great spot.
Spots. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna give you a 3.25.
All right.
I think I know where you're going with this. I got the subtle hint, but but obviously I can't judge you on what I think's gonna happen.
What's his name again? The Japanese
Shota Umino.
Okay.
So
He's nice with it. I really fell like in love with Shota Umino when I watched his match against Jack Parrott, Windy City Riot. Uh, and then I kind of like dove into like his history. Like he's basically been like mentored by like John Moxley in Japan, but he's like way better than John Moxley already. He's nice. Like he gives me like the best of like prime Tanahashi and like Okada, which sounds so meat writer for New Japan fans, but he really is that fucking man. So all right, going into my next match. About 6 months ago, Grayson Waller had earned the ire of the Big Red Machine Kane. He kept running away, but fell right into Kane's grasp every time, getting chokeslammed through announce tables for 3 weeks straight. Waller knew he needed help if he was going to survive a PPW locker room with his abrasive personality and a loaded heavyweight division ready to shut him up. He started making calls and convinced Mark Henry to leave BOA after Viscera and Baron Black beat Waller up so bad that they were suspended indefinitely. Henry arrived and defeated Kane in PPW singles competition, vindicating Waller. Though Henry said he's not Waller's friend officially, Waller has hung around him, given him fashion advice, taken him on vacations, and even gotten them into tag team competition under the team name he came up with, the Wall of Pain. For the past 4 months, the Wall of Pain have been running roughshod on the tag division, picking up the tag titles from the Creed brothers along the way. Grayson Waller's loud mouth draws anger out of their opponents, while Mark Henry's strength beats it out of them. Last month at Capital Punishment, they annihilated the Young Bucks, preventing any high-flying spots from anyone other than Waller. In the same address noted in the other builds involving the Sabanists, Chris tells AJ, Shannon, and TJ, there's 3 of you, and only 2 of you can compete for the tag team titles. I only want to send my best. Those who won't embarrass me. Those who won't cause me anguish with their failures. In 2 weeks, you 3 are going to have a triple threat match in the main event of Drive, and whoever gets pinned will be doing the dirty work instead of representing my name on the grand stage. I would not want to lose this match. Next week in the main event of Drive, the triple threat match takes place with Chris Sabin watching on commentary. They have an amazing acrobatic 20-minute match when AJ misses a springboard 450, leading TJ to hit the damnation kick and pin him. Sabin tells The Miz on commentary that he has to go handle business. He slides to the ring as Shannon and TJ are helping AJ up. He gets between Shannon and TJ and raises their arms in victory as AJ watches. Joey Styles on commentary notes, Sabin is a master manipulator, weaponizing friendship to get whatever he wants. And The Miz argues and says, well, it's clearly working. He's the world champion. He's making sure his associates have what it takes to hold championships like he does. The following week on Drive, Grayson Waller hosts an episode of The Grayson Waller Effect with no announced guest. Waller is sitting in his bistro chair with Henry standing behind him, both wearing tropical shirts and skinny-ass jeans. Waller says, oftentimes, we like to bring up our upcoming opponents, ask them a couple questions, rise them up, and let them know there's no breaking through the wall of pain. But I think we've run out of competition. We've beaten the Creed brothers. We've beaten the Hardys. We've beaten the Young Bucks, the Singh brothers, the Nemeth brothers. We've beaten all the brothers that PPW has to offer.
Isn't this kind of the same thing as a New Zealand accent?
I was gonna say you could have just used this
got the New
accent.
Zealand
I was thinking that same thing. I was like, this is
Exact
way
thing.
better.
Are they that similar?
They're very
Yeah,
similar.
they're very
New Zealand's
similar.
just an island off of fucking Australia, man.
Hey,
Were you a geography teacher?
oh, I know where it is. It's just like I don't know the accents
you?
that well.
Yeah, the
Yes.
accents are damn near the same.
This
Okay.
this is
They're
the
very
education
close.
system of America, guys.
Like Dakota Kai literally sounds just like
I know you're on summer vacation, but damn.
Hey, that's brutal. Waller's interrupted by the bro of Matt Riddle's theme song that's been blended with RVD's. An outcome, RVD and Matt Riddle known as the Blazing Bros. Riddle says, you may have beaten all the brothers, but you haven't beaten the bros. And pauses for a sea of bro, bro, bro chants. Rob takes over the mic and says, I know we haven't won any contender match or anything, but we were sitting backstage, smoking a little reefer, and figured, what the hell? Why couldn't a couple of world-class athletes take those belts off Rocco and Heifer over here? And then Matt takes over the mic and says, bro, Grayson, you probably dress like a tourist because And before he can finish his joke, the Blazing Bros are attacked from behind by Shannon Sorrows and TJ Terror. Grayson is yelling, how dare any of you freaks interrupt my show? None of you have earned anything. And General Manager Dan the Dad comes out and says, stop this immediately. Don't make me get the belt. Now for once, Grayson is right. Neither team has earned a title shot. Let's fix that. Next week, the Sabanists will face the Blazing Bros for a title shot at Genesis. Now take this unauthorized talk show set down so we can watch some wrestling. On the go-home show, the number one contender match is happening with the Wall of Pain watching at ringside. RVD front flips out of the ring onto Shannon and TJ, but the crash of bodies knocks into Waller, causing him to trip and break his shades. Waller is irate at breaking his sunglasses and sends Henry to beat down all four of them. The match ends in a no contest. Waller gets on the mic and says, well, that settles it. I guess we'll have the night off at Genesis to hit the clubs. Let's get out of this dump they call Buffalo. And as they make it up the entrance ramp, Dan the Dad is standing there waggling his finger. He says, not so fast. If you thought you were going to escape accountability, you're as insane as you look. At Genesis, you will not just face one of these teams for the tag team championships. You will face them both in a triple threat tag team match. So before the match happens on the pay-per-view, The Miz explains, PPW does these matches a little bit different than you're used to. Each team has a legal partner, and they can only tag in their own partner. We know you've been waiting for these matches to make sense. You're welcome. So the match starts with Waller, Riddle, and TJ legal. Riddle and TJ immediately run at Waller, who tags in Henry just as quickly. Riddle and TJ try kicking the legs of Henry. They run off the ropes, but both get overhead tossed. Henry continues beating on both of them until Riddle ducks behind Henry and TJ hits a spinning back kick, toppling Henry. TJ then tags in Shannon, and they hit a spinning wheel kick leg sweep combo on Riddle, pin attempt for one. Shannon tries to do a springboard crossbody on Henry, who fall away tosses him at Riddle. Riddle hits two final flash knees on Henry before making a hot tag to RVD, who hits a side kick from the top rope, knocking down Henry. He hits a handspring moonsault on Henry before hitting a rolling thunder on Shannon and posing for the crowd. Everyone ends up crowded on the outside of the ring. Riddle and Shannon simultaneously hit the floating bro and the whisper in the wind outside onto the group. Riddle later inverted suplexes Waller onto the barricade so RVD can hit his spinning leg drop. 1 second. TJ hoists Riddle up like he's going to hit a damnation kick in the ring, but Shannon uses the elevation to hit a orgasm off the top rope. Waller tags himself in from Henry, climbs to the second rope, climbs onto Mark Henry's shoulders, and does the in-between-the-legs elbow on Matt Riddle. He attempts to pin him, but has it broken up by TJ hitting the Mamba Splash, which is basically the between-the-legs elbow drop, but a frog splash. And then RVD hits a frog splash, breaking up TJ's pin attempt. Waller hits a front flip on Prettier on TJ, and then Riddle hits the Bro Derek on Waller, and then tags in RVD. And for the finish, TJ and Waller appear laid out, so RVD takes his time posing and showing off. He sets Waller up to go coast to coast in the corner, but first hits a Rolling Thunder on TJ. But as he's coming up from the roll, Waller hits the Rolling Thunder stunner on RVD for the victory as Mark Henry clears any breakup attempts. So that's it for that match. There's going to be, I'll say it. Later on in the show, a party bus is seen pulling up in the parking lot. As Riddle and RVD are walking out, they see it, shrug, and walk over. The bus doors open, and none other than Jimmy Wang Yang is the driver. He says to them, "Howdy, partners. If you're looking for a party, you've done boot, scoot, and boogie to the right place." The Blazing Bros look at each other and say, "Bro," before getting onto the bus.
Somebody gonna venture.
All right.
All right.
So my
You know
my
I love
first
me some
thing
Jimmy
is
Wang.
You have the wrong person
Hold
on
up,
the
one
bus.
1 second. I gotta get roasted for my hair again by fucking Captain Bird Dick.
Talk your stuff, birds on. Talk your
All
stuff.
right. So the wrong person was
Damn,
on
Sean
the bus.
Paul hated the accent. 4 out of 10.
Okay, wait. So I'm gonna say this real quick though. Listen, even if you can't do the accent, we appreciate the effort. That's one thing.
Right.
I just appreciate the effort. So I'm never gonna get on you. You're not gonna lose any points for me if you
Yeah,
try
I'm
to
never
do an
taking
accent.
a point away for accents.
Yeah.
I'm never,
To be fair, if
definitely
you-
I'm gonna say
I
never.
can't
Damone
do
has
either.
3 voices he does.
This is the
Yeah.
This is the closest I can get. I like that hat, mate.
If you have watched any of the previous BookItVerse, I'm notoriously bad with voices. I had 4 people sounding the same. And
We're all
There's
pretty
one
bad
common
with voices.
denominator, which is
individuals
odd.
that came off
Travis
racist.
does the same. Travis does the same spooky voice for every person.
That's true. We're not voice actors. We're fucking wrestling bookers. Like, give us a fucking break.
So I think the wrong person was on the bus. It should have been Godfather with the Ho Train.
No,
That's my
we
biggest
support Jimmy
critique.
Wang Yang here.
Yeah, that's
Cowboy
fine. He
shit.
could have been
Cowboy
anywhere else.
Shit.
He could have been.
Cowboy shit.
He could have been anywhere else in the show. He could have even been on the bus with the Godfather. But I think this would have been a perfect place for the Godfather. 4.75.
Hell yeah.
Okay. I'll say this. I'm gonna go next. I will say this was actually a good build because the last 2 there was like no build whatsoever. This one has an actual build and made me care about the characters. And then the match was fire as well. A fire ending. Like I said, that ending is crazy. So I'm gonna give you that as well. It's a good match. I like the back and forth. The promos were good. The back and forth was funny. It kept me interested the whole time. I can't see anything wrong with it, and I'm interested to see where they're gonna go next with that adventure. So I'm going 5.
Hey, Kenny 5 means a lot. Thank you. And Sean Paul said
You know
it's
what?
good. Well, I'm feeling good.
I'm gonna agree with Kenny. I'm gonna give you a 5 on this. Jimmy Wang Yang put you over the top.
Fuck it. Give it a 5 too.
Hey, now I'm feeling good. So now Captain Birdseye talking shit about my hair don't feel so bad. I just got a 5. What'd you get, motherfucker? I'm going Subway.
I'm going to Subway. You're getting like
Don't give me 1/3 of a sandwich now.
$1.
20 to give me a 6-inch now.
$5 book long.
They gotta bring back the $5 foot long, man.
They won't. It's
They
10.
won't.
Hey, because he sang that
10,
song, you drop down to a
$10.6.
2.75.
I didn't sing the song. Don't do that to me.
No, Joe. The way this
Hey,
works,
Jimmy
is
Wang
they
Yang
convinced
told it for
me.
Sean Paul too. Sean Paul gave it a 5, and then even Captain Birdseye said he would have given me a 5, but because of the hair, it took me half a point. Bro, I changed the bangs. What the fuck else do you want?
Find out
It looks
really,
good,
it's
Mike.
really your barber.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking hit you, Captain Birdseye. That's what I'm gonna do.
He did his hardest. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
He just
Anyway,
looks like Chris Jericho in 2008. But keep going.
I'll
Keep
take
going.
that. So, Hangman
Better
Page has
than
been on
2024.
All right, let him do this.
Hangman Page has been on a losing streak for the past 6 months, putting on competitive matches with top-tier talent due to his past accolades. However, each time results in a heartbreaking loss. With each one, his sportsmanship and attitude get worse. He even attacked Chris Hero after their last pay-per-view match. On the episode of Drive following that match, Hangman is seen getting ready in a mirror before Nick Nemeth walks up and says, "Hey man, I know this is tough and I know what it's like. I've been through this exact same thing and I promise it gets better. This could be a big year for both of us." Hangman ignores Nemeth, and Nemeth pats him on the back and says, "Just let me know if you need anything, man. I'm here for you." The next week, both Nemeth and Hangman are scheduled for singles matches. Nemeth is scheduled to face his old friend John Morrison, while Hangman is facing Al Snow. Hangman's match is first, and on his way out the tunnel, Nemeth hypes him up in Gorilla, saying, "Remember who the hell you are and show them." Hangman doesn't respond. He controls most of the match with Snow, but his frustration at not putting him away leads Snow to getting a roll-up victory. Hangman goes to the curtain and blows past Nemeth, who then goes out and wins his match against Morrison. Next week on Drive, Nemeth goes up to Hangman again and says, "I can tell you're in your head, and I can tell it's hard for you to focus right now. I can't sit back and watch you suffer like that. I went to Dan the Dad, and I got us a tag match booked for us tonight against the Wingmen. I'm going to make sure you get the pin tonight because you're a goddamn winner, and you need to remember what that rush feels like hearing the crowd cheer for you after you win." The tag match happens as Nemeth is making easy work of Benoni and Avalon. He super kicks Peter Avalon, knocking him into perfect position for a buckshot lariat. He goes over to tag Hangman, but Hangman hops off the apron, flips off Nemeth, and leaves him to be hit with a butterfly suplex and pinned by Avalon. After the match, Hangman buckshots Nemeth hits him with a dead eye, and screams, "I don't need your help. I'm above you. Do you hear me, bitch? I'm above you." On the go-home show of Drive, Nemeth goes out to the ring and says on the microphone, "Growing up, I often heard the phrase, if you need a friend, be a friend. I've taken that with me my entire career. Even if it's to my own detriment, I have made myself a helping hand to anybody in any locker room. I've made sacrifices for strangers, and I've stuck my neck out for the competition. I've never once stepped on anyone to get ahead, and although that's cost me, that's who I am, and I'm damn proud of that. However, that often blows up in my face. And my offer to help Hangman Page through his rut has done just that. I've seen losing streaks, I've been squashed in the middle of this ring, and I've paraded some terrible gimmicks, so I understand what Hangman was going through better than anyone, and I couldn't watch somebody with his level of talent go to waste. Now, what I can't explain is why Hangman reacted the way he did. My best guess is pride, but Adam, why don't you come on out here and explain for yourself?" Hangman comes out and says, "You're right about one thing, Nemeth, and that is that this is often a spot you are in. See, why would I take advice from someone who clearly has no idea how to advance his own career in this industry? I reacted the way I did because I don't respect you. You are not my equal, much less somebody who can offer me advice. The only thing worse than what I'm going through right now is me ending up like you. The only thing that would be easier than rolling over like you have so many times is beating your glorified jobber ass where the lights shine bright. See, I've actually won main events of pay-per-views. I win world title matches. And unlike you, I have a winning record in my career. Do you want to take a look at your record? Would you even be able to look at that? Honestly. So, Nemeth, I got us a match one-on-one at Genesis because that will be an easy victory for me to turn my career around. You, Nemeth, are light work, a gatekeeper, a jobber, for stars like me." Hangman walks to the back and leaves Nemeth to choke on those words as his music plays. I did do attires for this match. Nemeth wears gold zebra print tights that say "jobber" on the ass with a white leather vest, and Hangman wears his black and white floral tassel tights with a black vest.
Does he come out on a horse?
He does not come out on a horse.
There has been no cowboy shit, and that is very upsetting.
He's angry cowboy right now. So Nemeth starts the match by getting shoot takedowns to embarrass and anger Hangman. This continues until Hangman punches him in the mouth. Nemeth socks him right back before they have a chop battle that Nemeth wins before hitting the 10 punches in the corner. Nemeth goes for a stinger splash, but Hangman throws him into the top of the post, dumping him to the outside. Hangman floats over the top and hits an acai moonsault to the outside. Hangman then goes for his off-the-apron, running shooting star press, but Nemeth drop kicks him as he's coming down. When Hangman is hunched over getting up, Nemeth jumps off the apron, hits a famouser onto the floor, and rolls him into the ring. Nemeth goes for the 10 elbow drops, but as he's swiveling his hips for the 10th, Hangman hits a snap, half Nelson suplex, pin attempt for 2. Nemeth tries to surprise Hangman with his elevated DDT, but Hangman lifts Nemeth's legs onto the top rope and hits a rope-hung swinging neckbreaker. Hangman beats down Nemeth with more big slams like the Yushigoroshi, backdrop facebuster, and deadlift pump handle suplex, each with a failed pin attempt and frustration growing. Hangman throws Nemeth into the corner so fast that he rolls up it. Hangman then hits an inverted superplex, slamming him backwards onto his stomach. He goes to pin Nemeth, but Nemeth gets the foot on the rope just before the 3 count. Hangman tunes up the band in the corner while saying to the crowd, "He really thinks he's HBK? He's not even X-Pac." Hangman goes for the kick. Nemeth ducks and hits an Olympic slam. Nemeth goes for another jumping DDT, but Hangman reverses it into the Deadeye. 1, 2, kick out. Hangman goes for the buckshot lariat, but Nemeth hits him with a super kick right as he lands on his feet. 1, 2, Hangman kicks out. Nemeth goes to the apron for a buckshot, and he says, "A YouTuber does your finisher better than you, dumbass." He flips over, and Hangman hits a discus forearm to Nemeth's chin. lifts him up for a tombstone pile driver, but Nemeth drops back down to his feet and hits him with the danger zone and pins him 1, 2, 3.
So, John, I was really ready to give you a 5.
Mm.
And
It's
then
for
the
the
wrong
horse.
person won.
Oh,
Mm.
Who won?
Nemeth won.
Nemeth won. Hangman should have won. Even if Hangman cheated to win, he should have been the one to win. Because now he's just back to being a loser. And like, I feel like you could have done way more with a Hangman win here.
I'm letting
Even
that
if you
frustration grow.
even if you did the like old like the classic beer bottle to the head or something,
Yeah,
foot on the
yeah.
rope, something so that I feel like Hangman needed to win here more, even if
Yeah.
it was in a shitty way.
I get what you mean. I'll say that
I'm
this story is not going to be one that pays off quickly. This is going to be a long game one.
okay. Classic. I can only judge you on what's happened so far.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna still give you a good grade. I'm gonna give you a 4.72.
And
Sean's cooking my Hangman impression. Sorry, I'm not a voice actor.
What I personally think, John, is you would have
And Sean agrees with them up.
you would have done better if you were doing a lot of this as a weekly show instead of a pay-per-view.
I do agree with that. I agree with that, especially with that Kevin Owens match. That was definitely
Yes.
a weekly match.
You have enough that you could have done a weekly, then do that slow build. I would know this, but the slow build is actually quick build because now you've got 4 weeks you can work with instead of trying to cram it all into one pay-per-view build. And I think that you could have unfolded more and done more with these and probably gotten some better pairings out of them. I'm still going to give this 4.75. I did like this, but I do think that that's something to keep in mind, that this would have been great as a weekly show. And if you write like this, you could write like that as a weekly show. And I think what you want to do, you could easily segment it off. And I would know I do great weeklies.
I think I'm going to do a weekly show during this BookItVerse, but what was weird is that, like, before we ever did weeklies, everybody was like, I feel like John would do a good weekly, and then I did a weekly and it was ass. So, like,
I mean, that one was ass. This one could have been a straight weekly, I feel like.
Right. The only thing I would say that felt weekly, to me at least, was the Kevin Owens match.
Right, but he could have scaled back. All right, so he could have scaled back some of what he's done a little bit, and it all could have fit. All this could fit on a weekly. And
yes, it could, more but I feel like
I have 8 matches, so it'd be like an AEW weekly. But like,
I feel like this is fine as a pay-per-view because, like, obviously, I don't expect all your stories to conclude here. Like, I understand there's shit's gonna happen in the future.
That's fine. Yeah, I just think this.
I get why you wanted Hangman to win that though, because you don't want to turn somebody heel to have them lose, but he's also.
If he loses like something after the match, like him flipping out or something,
match or something like that.
Yeah, or like even like him just flipping out would have, I think, helped.
Yeah, I think a freak out afterwards would have been good, like an attack.
So, Damone, what did you give it? I didn't hear what you gave it.
I think it was a 4.72.
4.72. Okay.
Yes.
0.3 cents with the horse.
Yeah, I'm gonna be the hater here. I'm going with. I agree with Mike was saying. I feel like this is definitely a weekly. This build. Yeah, this build was a little bit better than like how you did the Dakota Kai match and Kevin Owens match, but it still feels like it should have been more to it. So I'm personally giving you 2.5.
All right. So going into my next match, Abaddon has been a frightening force of a women's world champion for 14 months since last year's Armageddon, which is my Mania. She has not only remained undefeated in that time, but she has not been given much of a challenge for her title. Her strength, lunacy, and mind games often prove too much for opponents to handle. After an opponent is defeated by her, they begin to appear more lethargic, make irrational decisions, and then disappear or struggle with bouts of madness. The women's roster is both fearful and depleted. The less experienced talent have been forced to step up and fill the void. No one has done that like Viva Vaughn, the first ever Vietnamese-American women's wrestler. The Hellbent Vixen has proven to be just that, winning her first 10 matches in PPW. She showed this following her win at Capital Punishment, where she got on the mic and said, "Abaddon, you got a night off tonight because everyone is afraid of you. I'm different. Your magic show will not scare me off from achieving my dream of becoming PPW Women's Champion." The lights went out, and Abaddon was heard grumbling, "All shall perish." The episode of Drive that follows, Jonathan Coachman is shown saying, "At this time, please welcome my guest, Viva Vaughn. A few nights ago at Capital Punishment, you boldly called out the decadent women's champion, Abaddon. This has not gone well for anyone in over a year. What makes you different?" Vaughn says, "What makes me different is that my legacy has not yet been carved. My name is not yet known to the masses. Simply put, I need this more than the past contenders have. Failure is not an option, and I will not be scared back into obscurity." Coach takes the mic back, and the lights go out again. Abaddon's voice grumbles, "Run while you can." The lights go black, and Coach runs off camera. And the lights go back on, and Coach runs away from the camera, and you can hear him vomiting as he goes off screen. The following week, Viva Vaughn goes out to the ring to cut a promo, saying, 14 months as champion is a long time. Long enough for me to know your antics, to be familiar with your game. The lights, the croaking voice, the surprise attacks, the voodoo magic. It may have gotten you this far, but me and these fans are ready to have a wrestling champion. You might as well crawl down to this ring and get the corpse paint slapped off you, because I do not fear Abaddon. The lights go out again and smoke fills the ring. They flicker back on, and Abaddon has Vaughn in the mandible claw, with the smoke and the flickering dissipating and Abaddon disappearing, leaving Vaughn shaken in the ring. The following week, a video airs showing what appears to be an abandoned cathedral. Inside is Abaddon sitting on a throne with a locust carved into the top of it. She says, "All who have ignored my warnings have plunged into the abyss. Call my name again, and you'll rot from the inside out. You can scream like the locusts, fight like a hero, or run like the wind. There is no way out of the void." And the vignette ends with a lightning strike. On the Go Home show, a vignette airs of Viva Vaughn training, doing like a Rocky montage, and she says, "This match is so much bigger than me. That's why I'm not afraid. That's why I'll risk the horrors that Abaddon is capable of. I'll go face to face with the Queen of Locusts to be the pride of a nation. I'll risk my sanity to create a better life for my family. I'll risk my life for my dream. I am a hell-bent vixen, and I will always get what I want." And then finishes the Rocky montage with training clips and stuff like that and highlights. For the attires, Abaddon has red hair, black, white, and yellow face paint. Her entrance starts with her on the throne wearing a tattered black dress and a crown made of fake insects. The Queen of Locusts crawls her way down the ring slowly as smoke fills the arena with black lights. Viva Vaughn is wearing her usual black and silver studded gear. So the match opens up with Vaughn running at Abaddon, but getting chokeslammed immediately for a scary 2 count. She gets on top of her and rains down headbutts and bites before the ref breaks it up. Vaughn is able to break away with a roundhouse into a fake leg sweep. Abaddon chases Vaughn into the corner. Abaddon chases Vaughn into the corner, but Vaughn dodges. She goes to the opposite corner where Abaddon attempts a fast corner spear, but Vaughn dodges again, letting Abaddon hit the post. Vaughn then locks Abaddon in a tarantula in the corner for the 5 seconds that the ref allows. She waits for Abaddon to get up for a springboard, but Abaddon clotheslines her down to the apron, then hits the ropes and spears her through the ropes to the outside. Abaddon then hits a twist of hate onto the arena floor. She gets in the ring and poses for what is for the assumed 10 count, but Vaughn gets up, and Abaddon goes outside the ring to finish the job, breaking the count. Abaddon clears the announce table and sets up for the Soul Reaver, which is a sit-out chokeslam bomb. But Vaughn flips over to hit a code red on Abaddon through the announce table. Vaughn gets a rush of energy, sliding Abaddon into the ring. She lifts Abaddon up for an atomic drop, then bridges back into a reverse powerbomb and a pin attempt for a close 2. Vaughn goes up to the second rope and waits for Abaddon to get up as she hits the Vendetta spinning heel kick. When Abaddon falls face down, she locks in a bridging STF. Abaddon, with an astounding show of strength, lifts her way out of the submission and hits a gory special to reverse it. She then hits the ropes when Vaughn is up to a kneel and hits the headshot, which is a Hurricane Rana facebuster, to pin her valiant opponent. When her music plays and the lights go out, smoke fills the ring, and Abaddon disappears with the flickers of the lights.
Okay. With this one, I mean, like, I do like the fact you were going spooky with this one. It's another one where I feel like I was hoping it would stretch out just a little bit more. I think the right person won too as well. I just wish there was more to it. That's one thing about it. I'm gonna go with a 3.75.
So I wish that there was more to the Viva Vaughn character. It just
Same.
felt very like generic. I'm gonna win because I'm gonna win.
Because I'm a good guy.
She's bad and I'm good and I'm gonna win the belt. Like I feel like you could have leaned into like when you said like she was gonna win it for her nation, and I feel like you could have leaned into that some more. Especially with her being like the first Vietnamese champion, or wrestler. I do like the stuff we did with Abaddon. I'm gonna give this a solid 3.
Every time you said Abaddon, I thought of John Cena's theme song. Abaddon!
What?
Like, after, like, when it starts.
When he says Afro, though?
Whatever he says, it could be switched with Abaddon!
Whenever I see her name, I always want to say Abandon.
Me too. Because my mind fixes it and it'd be like, no, it's a band.
I'm going to go with a 4.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought it was spooky.
And to explain to Sean,
anything lower than a 4.
Sean's agreeing with the masses saying that the stories are too short. I kind of was just my mindset going in was like, I'm going to focus a little more on my matches and kind of just I'm going to do my best with the stories, but that wasn't where I felt my bag was.
Done a weekly.
I was focused on my matches.
When you have short stories, do a weekly.
For
me,
well, then I can't have 30-minute matches. I'm doing the AEW.
I hope you don't have 30 matches. I'm trying to go to bed.
John's
30-minute matches, not 30-minute matches. I only have one more match.
Okay.
John's strength is his matches. So,
well, yeah.
I'm gonna add to these builds as I go. I was just trying to get back in rhythm, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to do like good builds and try not to take any like unnecessary risks, and then like focus on the matches really hard. But this build I think has a little more to it. I think you'll like it. We're going into my main event. So 4 months ago, after failing to capture the PPW Top of the World Championship in honest competitive matches, it was revealed that Chris Sabin had been acquiring help with a scheme to screw Johnny Gargano out of the title. They had attacked Johnny before the match, and during the match, they distracted the ref and assaulted Gargano with chairs before Sabin joined in, won the match, and later revealed his followers known as the Sabinists to be none other than Darby Disaster, Shannon Sorrows, AJ Agony, TJ Terror, and Killer Kelly, renaming himself Chris Calamity. He said that his greatest talents are his brain and his personality, and it was time he worked smarter, not harder. He used his charisma to fool Gargano into thinking he had nothing to do with the prior attacks and to get those people to do them in the first place. Now his circle of friends enforced their standards upon PPW. Since then, Gargano has been trying to get his title back, but each match has some kind of interference preventing Gargano from winning, including the last pay-per-view Capital Punishment. The same address to the Sabinists and other builds that was given ends in Chris saying, Johnny, you're not champion because you don't have the qualities of a champion. Get good. I have the charisma to have friends like these who will do anything for me. I have the smarts to pull the rug out from under you every single time. I have the athleticism to best you in that ring and embarrass you over and over again. At this point, beating you is a fun game to me. However, the line grows weary of watching you lose over and over and over again. So you will never challenge for this title again. The next week on Drive, Johnny Gargano comes out, much to the crowd's delight. He starts his promo by saying, "First of all, I have to say I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it didn't overcome the antics of the Sabanist once again. I'm sorry that he is your BBW top of the world champion, and I'm sorry that I'm not. I failed you guys. Let's cut to the chase. I failed. But despite what Chris Sabin says, I'm not done yet. I have not been beaten fairly, and I will not let Chris escape me until he beats me clean in the center of this ring. I deserve an honest match with an honest opponent and to lose fairly." Sorry, I lost my place. And to lose fairly. If he can beat me, but if you go back and check the records, when we had honest competitive matches, Johnny Wrestling won every time. Chris appears on the screen and says, Johnny, you just don't know when to give it up. You've had 3 chances and you failed to get your title back. If these fans had any taste whatsoever, they'd be as sick of seeing you as I am. And what I said is firm. You will not face me for this title ever again. Now get the hell out of the ring so a better wrestler can earn a title shot. General Manager Dan the Dad comes out and says, both parties make excellent points. Johnny, I love your no-quit attitude, but you have had 3 chances to earn your title back and have lost every time. The fans and the roster deserve to see some new matchups. And Chris yells, finally, our general manager grows a pair. Thank you. And Dan says, I'm not done yet, Chris. You have yet to have an honest title defense as PPW Top of the World Champion. That is a bad look for everyone. You, me, and this company. Tonight, Johnny will have one more chance to earn a last title shot in a fatal 4-way match against Josh Alexander, Triple H, and Jack Perry. If Gargano is to win, we will discuss the terms next week. That night, the match happens, and Johnny Gargano does win the fatal 4-way, making Jack Perry tap out to the Gargano escape. The next week, Chris comes out with all the Sabanists surrounding him and says, on some bullshit, Johnny Gargano is given another chance to waste everyone's time and fail again. Does he think he's going to pester me out of my spot at the top? Dude, every match with me is 6-on-1. I'm already better than you alone, but I'm not going to risk injury giving you my best, so my loving friends help me with load management. That's what friends do. If you sweaty neckbeards out here at Buffalo had any friends, you'd do the same thing. But now, I get to wait for a fake dad who's never touched a woman in his life to draft some terms that favor your little internet darling, Johnny Wrestling. Newsflash. Johnny is a failure. To this company, he's a failure. To you, he's a failure. To his family, he's a failure. And to whatever friends still enable him to keep trying. He will never beat me. He's a failure. Get it through your heads. And as he says this, Shannon Cesaros is thrown out of the ring behind him by Johnny making a run-in, knocking down each of the Sabanists and beelining for Sabin until the numbers game catches up. That's when Dan the Dad comes out and says, stop this poppycock right now. I knew exactly how this interaction and a potential match between the two of you would go. And I have drafted a compromise that should please everyone. Johnny, if you lose, you will never be allowed to face Chris Sabin for the Top of the World Championship ever again. Chris smiles until he says, Chris, this match will be happening inside of a steel cage, and if any of your friends appear at ringside, you will be stripped of the title. We will make this official at a formal contract signing next week. So on the go-home show, the contract signing sees Sabin in the ring without the Sabanists with a solemn look on his face. Johnny comes out pumped with the crowd on his side. Chris gets a mic and says, wipe that smirk off your face, Johnny. On Sunday, I'm going to crush your dream and break your spirit like I've done 3 times before. Except this time, I'm going to make a point to embarrass you, to humiliate you, to take away that last bit of determination that you have and crush it like an insect. When the deck is stacked in your favor, I still have the high card. You don't deserve to be here. And it will be my pleasure, my joy to expose you one more time. And with this match, I finally rid myself of Johnny Gargano and can enjoy my title with my friends in my company for the rest of my career. Is that clear, Johnny? Do you understand that? Do you understand the gravity of this? When you lose, you will never be world champion again. And he signs the contract. Johnny gets the mic to the roar of the crowd and says, "Wow, you really are delusional, huh? You seem to forget that before you watched Annihilator tutorial on YouTube and went to shop at Hot Topic at the age of 30, that I, too, had beaten you 3 times. I, too, held that championship for months. I have already exposed you, Chris. Everybody in this crowd knows that in a clean match between Johnny Gargano and Chris Calamity, I am the better wrestler. And I get the honor of ending this embarrassing cult fantasy of yours, beating your ass all around a steel cage and walking out of that said cage a 2-time PPW Top of the World champion. No matter how the deck is stacked, I will always bet on myself. Because if you bet on yourself, you never lose. And with it being just me, you, and 19,000 beautiful Buffalo fans chanting, and he pauses for the Johnny Wrestling chants. It's
Johnny
a safe
Wrestling.
Says the safe bet and signs the contract. They stand up. Sabin spits in Gargano's face and tries to swing on him, but Johnny reverses the swing into a Hertz Donut, which is a full Nelson spinning facebuster, through the table and holds the title over Chris Calamity's head. And for the attires, Chris Calamity is wearing black and red studded tights and a Silverstein zip-up hoodie, and he comes out to the Motor City Machine Guns 1967 theme. If you don't remember that one, it was their very first theme song. It's a banger. And Gargano is wearing a Fantastic Four themed vest and trunks. The cage door shuts, and they immediately start brawling in the center of the ring. Johnny gets the advantage and lawn dart throws Sabin at all 4 sides of the cage. Johnny goes for a spear, but Sabin steps out of the way, letting Gargano dive into the cage. He ties Johnny up in the ropes and hits 3 hesitation drop kicks, kicking his head into the sides of the cage. Sabin tries using the cage to aid a sliced bread, but Gargano holds his balance and is able to reverse with one of his own. Gargano attempts to climb the cage, but sees Chris in pursuit, so he jumps backwards for an elevated tornado DDT to the floor. The 2 men trade enziguris, super kicks, and Yakuza corner kicks until they're both at a knee in the center of the ring for a booyah battle that Johnny ends up winning, leading to a locked-in Gargano escape that Chris only escapes by rope break. Gargano goes for a reverse Rana that gets reversed into a cradle shock that Gargano barely survives, kicking out at 2.9. Chris hits a future shock DDT and a Canadian destroyer, but still can't put Gargano away. Chris crucifix bombs Gargano at the cage, screaming in his face to give up and stay down. When Calamity tries the Yakuza boot Gargano's head to the cage, Gargano moves, gets to the top rope, and does a modified final beat DDT, which is like the slingshot DDT. 1, 2, kick out from Sabin. Gargano hits a shotgun drop kick into the cage, a reverse Rana, and a spear. Gargano and Calamity exchange headbutts back and forth until both men fall flat on their backs. Calamity attempts to escape the cage by climbing, but Gargano hits a backstabber, pulling him down to the floor. Chris hits a double foot stomp on Gargano's back while he's hunched over. Calamity rushes to Gargano, but Johnny hits a snap belly-to-belly throw into the cage. Seeing his chance, Gargano crawls close enough to the cage for the door to be opened, but as Johnny gets closer, the ref seemingly makes a mistake and locks it back up. Johnny's face looks pissed off and exasperated, but he doesn't have the time to argue, so he starts climbing to the top of the cage. This buys Sabin time to follow from behind. He climbs up and he smashes Johnny's head against the cage 3 times before lifting him above his shoulders and hitting a cradle shock, jumping down from the top rope and pinning Gargano for the victory. After the cage doors open following the match, Chris Sabin hugs the ref, but the camera zooms in, catching him sliding an envelope to the referee.
Oh, that's how it ends? That's
Would have been a great weekly. That's my biggest takeaway from this whole thing.
I don't agree. I think it's a good pay-per-view way to end the pay-per-view.
Thank you, Sean, on the story part. Damn,
I do agree. I do agree. This is your best story. Is there pyro?
There is pyro.
Important part. I'm gonna give you. You know what? I'm gonna give you a 5 for this one. I think the match is fire. I think the build was really good, and you've been building it throughout the entire show and the pay-per-view, that building up to this whole thing. So, yeah, Chris Sabin bribed the referee. And I support good heel shit, and bribing the referee is good heel shit. Sabin's a believable heel and a believable piece of shit, and I like the fact that he won. Sometimes the good guy doesn't win. So yeah, I'm giving it a 5.
okay. I think, like Sean said, this is your best story. I personally think the actual match was lacking. I do see your build was. I see your build. I see what you're building to. And he said, break his heart, Kenny. So I see what you're building to. So that's where most of the points are coming from. And
there is no rematch, Sean. He can never face him again.
Never again.
Never again.
I'm about to say, yeah, that part. And then Sean said something, and I was like, I didn't peep that. Did you have a rope break in a steel cage match?
I did.
It's his company. Maybe his company.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's supposed to be no DQ. So if he held him there for more than 5 seconds,
but yet again, ECW's all no DQ, and they have rope breaks in their matches. That's the one rule.
It could be no DQ, but you could still have rope break on.
I don't know.
You're not going
to do and if Sabin's bribing the refs, they'll enforce it for a Gargano escape.
That too. Plus, we don't know what all the companies.
Yeah, I was about to say. So. I mean that was a good loophole. I'll give you that. I'll give you that. You said it just now. I'll give you a good. So I'm gonna go with.
Just know that if you have another cage match, it better have rope breaks.
Yeah, you gotta have rope breaks.
Make sure to write a rope break spot next week.
Okay, and then what else was I about to say?
I put rope breaks in every match. Sorry, it's a good way to break submissions. I just do that sometimes.
Okay. Well, I think that this did feel like a main event, though. I'll give you that. It felt like this was supposed to be a big match. The rest of the matches felt like filler. I'm not gonna lie to you. It felt like filler, and then we got to the big match. So I can tell you either wrote this first or you put all your energy into this one. So I'm gonna personally go with.
I wrote this last, so I put the most into it.
Oh, okay. I thought you would have wrote this first. Okay, so I'm gonna go with 4.5. Yeah, Sean Paul said the exact same thing. So the moment I said it, the 4.5 as well. I think there were some things I can nitpick on. That's where the 0.5 is taken off of. But I see you're building to something, and especially the fact that you can't ever challenge him again. So I feel like there's gonna be some kind of loophole to try to get them to get that match back. So I don't know what you got planned, but we're gonna see. So I'm at 4.5.
Johnny, no match.
Did it again to my heart. 4.75, John.
4.75. Okay. Yeah. So that was all you had. Nothing else after.
Yep, that's the end of my show.
Okay. All right. So the grades will be coming in next week. I gotta get Travis's grade, and then I'll give everybody's grade then too as well. And we got to do this. We got to spin that wheel. See what happens to your people.
Yeah. The one thing that I have a bit of an advantage on with the wheel is that when I talked about the Wild West rosters, I'm using a lot of motherfuckers I didn't draft and not using a lot of motherfuckers I did draft. So if you're looking forward to Luigi Primo versus Sean Stasiak from the draft episode, sorry to break your heart.
Meat.
Uh,
Meat is he is the owner and president of Meats.
But
So him going against the Primo would make sense.
yeah, they're
Meat
fighting
versus
like,
pizza.
Bob's Burgers and Jimmy Pesto.
Yes.
But so I'm seeing how the wheel goes. I could get lucky on that, but I could also, like, knowing my luck, it's going to take out like the main person, the people that I need. So we'll see.
You got to put it back on the thing.
Yeah, show me that wheel, baby.
Well, while he does that, we'll play you an ad for one of our sponsors.
Your body and the bodies you're loving deserve nothing but the best. Organic Lovin' is the only adult subscription box that includes eco-friendly body products, from body-safe adult toys to sex-positive books and erotic seminars. Organic Lovin's online store has everything you and your partner or partners could ever need to heat things up. And right now, your friends at T13 Media want to take 10% off of your next order. Just go to organiclovin.com and use promo code T1, T-H-R-E-E, like the sound the bed makes, when you check out. Organic Lovin'. Love organically, purely, deeply, boldly.
Yeah, and if you're watching live, you got 54 minutes to order some merch at t13media.com/store.
Are you tired? Tired of those other energy drinks hitting you with a short burst of jittery energy, followed by a crash that leaves you with less energy than you had before? Well, fear not, because Ray's energy drinks are specifically formulated to get you going without making you jittery and keeps you from crashing. With 0 sugars, 0 calories, and better caffeine than a cup of coffee, Ray's energy drinks are the #1 growing energy drink on the market. With flavors like Baja Lime, Sour Gummy Worm, Guava Mango, and Strawberry Colada, Ray's has some of the best tasting energy drinks available. You can get a case of Ray's right now by going to repsports.com and using promo code T1 THREE when you check out to take 15% off of your next order. That's promo code T1 THREE for 15% off of your next order of better, tastier energy.
Kenny, you ready?
I have it up. I went to go click it. Yeah, I'm ready. I went to go click it, and literally the ad started playing. I was like, oh, all right. Okay. So, can you guys see it?
Yep.
All right.
Damn. Back before Dolph
Now
Ziggler was freed, you got his name.
Yeah, he's still in here as
He's
Dolph
using
Ziggler.
his slave name.
This one takes. Oh, there it is.
All right. Yeah, there's 3 different people.
Spin that wheel.
Eugene.
What's happening to Eugene?
What happens
A
to you?
TCW original.
TCW. The thing is about this could also force me to use Eugene. Is like the thing is like some of these individuals who I wasn't going to use, I could end up having to.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. Let me take these off. Sorry, I thought I was going to get rid of them. All right. Now let's get it. What's going on with Eugene?
Oh,
Give up.
God damn, I already lost one draft pick. Fuck.
Well, that's weird. It's gonna have to go into BookItVerse 6.
Yeah, well, so yeah, what we're going to negate that. We're going to negate that.
You gonna redo it?
Yeah, we're gonna redo it.
Wait 2 years for that.
I was just gonna
Big
take his
Dog
first
Roman.
one.
You stuttered through your promo in the build, and it takes away 50 cents from the 2 lowest people.
Okay.
So we put that in there. So Eugene stutters.
So Eugene has to cut a promo on my next show. Got it.
Okay.
Hey,
All right.
hey, Sean, in BookItVerse 3, Eugene isn't disabled. Well, in this world, I at least hope he's not.
I'm gonna keep this one up. Video game guest spot, up, down, down. So they gained. So whoever this is going to gain 50 cents on your next show.
Okay.
That's 2, 50 cents on the next show. Who is this gonna be? Who is this gonna be? Ah. Okay. No, don't do that.
Don't spend her.
A hard
Not
R.
her.
It's a hard
That's
R.
ER.
Who
The
said
hard
it?
ER. That's the hard
John,
ER.
that is not a pass. You do not get a pass for that.
Hey, that'd be crazy. He gets to get one hard ER.
Hey, I'm just glad we didn't get that on the fucking BOA episode.
That'd be crazy. Colt Cabana.
Fuck, I gotta use Colt Cabana. Fuck.
In a video game.
Damn it.
That
Yeah, he's
actually
gonna be-
tracks, though. If you really
I
think
mean,
about it.
it'll help you. So whatever it is, I mean, he's gonna gain 50 cents from two of us. So if you want
Yeah, but
Take
it's
advantage
Colt
of that.
Cabana, so it's not gonna be too high.
to, all right, the last one. It's a little baby. Bull Buchanan.
I drafted Bull Buchanan.
Yes, you did.
You know, you're gonna end up
Fuck
getting it.
me.
You're gonna end up getting it
No.
on one of those people you don't want to use. Like
Yeah.
didn't you have like Steve-O?
we
I have
got
the
Bull
whole cast of
Buchanan.
Jackass.
That's just as bad. That might be worse.
Yeah, this gonna be crazy.
That's a
What's Bull
cast of
Buchanan doing?
Jackass.
There's a minor injury, so
There
he's
you
missing the
go.
next pay-per-view.
Hey, that works
Yeah.
out.
Oh,
You
I've
don't
heard.
have to use
Yes,
him.
I don't have to.
You
Oh
just have to
no,
mention
Bull
that he's out.
Buchanan can't show up.
I have to mention that he got hurt. Okay, Bull Buchanan's hurt for his big match.
All right,
Oh
let's
no.
bring this home.
Oh no, we're devastated for Bull Buchanan. That's a real show ruiner.
That's some bullshit.
Joe is trying to encourage the use of the N-word in the comments. Cancel him. Anyways, D-Money, where can they find you
They
between
can
episodes?
find me on all the social medias at DaMoneyT13. So DAMONEY T13.
All right, bad guy, where can they find you? Your
You can find me on everything but Instagram and Facebook at the moment because my hacker took that shit off.
Mustafa
Oh, what
Ali on his
have
ass.
to like WWE like Supercard or some shit like.
I don't know. He just hacked whatever. He just hacked everything. But
Yeah, Mustafa
I got
Ali
most,
on
I got
his
most of my
ass.
stuff back. But
And he's
like,
having the hacker storyline in real life.
yeah, it's crazy. You can catch me on social medias. Like I said, Bag I Spoken except those. You can also catch the Bag I Spoken podcast on YouTube's, and you can catch Unbiased, which is the football podcast, same channel. You see TK throw the little U like this. Get all your things football there, and you can also catch Hood Movie Review, where we review all your favorite and not so favorite hood movies, and you can also catch Geek in the Sheets as well. We review everything nerdy, like so you got news. We argue, do whatever it is you do on there. Like I said, whatever you like that's nerdy, we're most likely covering it on there. And last but not least, also check out Narc, Not a Real Court, where we just argue. We just debate. Whatever it is we
argue
debate.
some dumb shit.
Yeah,
like,
so you
we
said
just
Narc.
debate. Like, we argue about the best chips and what goes on a sandwich and what movies make you cry, stuff like that, all kind of stuff.
I like how you said use narc. Like that's our inside baseball term for it. Is narc.
Yeah,
It's-
I'm used to saying
It's
Narc.
not the
yeah,
public.
Joe. I was cooking with that, huh? Cross
You cannot.
local.
You cannot find me anywhere. I'm not on anything. Don't leave me alone.
Hi-Fi Mike is having a
I'm
social
not on
media
any social media.
hiatus and a hiatus too.
Not any public social media.
Yeah, Hi-Fi
For
Mike.
$100, I'll give it all out.
No, I'll just decline it all.
Wait, what?
Cereal is not a soup. I think
Cereal is a
Oh.
soup. Gazpacho's a soup.
Oh,
Cereal's
my
a soup. Let's bring this home. Come on.
and then
Yeah, let's
if
give
you
it
wanna
all out. My
find me
lord.
on talk wrestling or just talk shit about my hair like Captain Bird ass does. You could join the Reach for the Ropes wrestling discussions group on Facebook. That's also where you can catch these Book It streams before they drop on like Spotify and YouTube, so you can watch it live Tuesday nights in Reach for the Ropes. We talk wrestling. There's also a 2K Universe streamed show, Charged and Riot, that happened a couple times
It's
a
on
week.
our FTR.
on RFTR as well on their Twitch channel. Travi T and D Money do commentary for them. So that is where you can find us. That's been an episode of Book It.
You can find all the shows on the T13 Media Network on our website at t13media.com.
Buy some merch. That's been an episode of Book It. See ya.
Bye.